Hi, my name is Peter. In this video, we'll show you how to run LAMMPS, a molecular dynamic simulator on the Rescale ScaleX platform. So the first thing you need to do is to go to rescale.com and log in with your credential by clicking the login button. Once you're on the platform, it will bring you to a screen like this. This is show you all the different simulations have run on a Rescale before. If you're new to Rescale, you will have an empty list here. So let's now just submit a new LAMMPS simulation. What you need to do is to click the new job button on the top left and then give it a name, test job. And you can see the workflow on the top showing here. The first thing you need to do is to upload your input file. What you would do is if you have those input files you need to run on LAMMPS on your computer, simply click upload from this computer and then bring in these input files. Once it's being uploaded, as you can see, those are text files, so it's pretty quick. And you can even view it directly on the platform to see the content of the of your input file, and you can modify it as well by clicking the edit button. So that's the first step. The next step is to pick the software you like to use. In this case, let's go ahead and search for LAMMPS, and it will show you an icon LAMMPS here. And you can pick the version you like to use. So in this case, I'm going to use the CPU version, 2015 CPU version to run this job. And the last thing you need to do is to click on the initial input file. In this case, is this polychain.txt. Once you click on it, you see the command template automatically adjusted to populate that input file into the command, which is the command that's going to launch LAMMPS on the cluster. Now let's move on to the last step. This is where you can pick which hardware resource you like to use. Now, this is a relatively small model. I'm going to use this Onyx core type, which is very versatile, works well for most of the simulations. And you can adjust the number of cores you like to use and the maximum job duration. Now, like I said, this is a very small model. I'm going to just use one core to run this tutorial model. And I know it runs very fast, so I'm going to run it with a wait time of 5 hours, which should finish within a couple of minutes. With that, you complete the whole setup. So you can go to the next step here, which is a optional post-processing script step, which you can skip. And then the very last step is just review. So making sure everything looks good. If it does, go ahead and click the submit button, which will go into the submission sequence. What it'll do on the Rescale side is it'll validate your command input. It'll validate your account has sufficient privilege to run the job. And then it'll go into initiate the cluster on the cloud provider and then start running your job. This process typically takes about 2 to 5 minutes, depends on the load. And once it go into the running job stage, this is where your job is actually starting and you can monitor the results as it's going forward. Now, while your job is running, you will see a screen like this. So you see this particular job has been in the running job stage for 13 minutes now. And you have access to all the intermediate results and log file while your job is being calculated. Typically, you can look at the process._output log, which will give you a output that generated from LAMMPS. This is just to check, ensure everything looks well. You can see the different steps and how far it's converging. If you set up your simulation, your LAMMPS model, such that it generates the image as it progressing, you can actually click the image file to look at the image as it's solving the model. Finally, if you do want to SSH into the node, you can simply click on the IP address here, which will bring you a in-browser SSH terminal, which sits on that particular node that you're calculating. And everything should be under the shared, work directory, cd work. You see the process output log, and if you go into shared, these are all the outputs being generated. Hopefully that shows you how to run LAMMPS on the Rescale ScaleX platform. We do offer a lot of tutorials to help you get started. If you don't have a model yourself just yet, you can use one of our tutorials by clicking on the help menu on the top right and go into the documentation center. In the documentation center, go into software example K-O and go into LAMMPS example. Now you'll see these two examples I was just showing you earlier. If you like to run this with your own account, simply click the import job setup button here. What that will do is it will actually bring this particular model, clone it, and set it up under your account on Rescale. So it takes a minute or so. Once it's fully loaded and set up on your account, it will show up here, and it will have all the input, all the setups ready for you, just like with the one I've set up earlier. So you can see the inputs already set up, all the commands already set up, including the hardware is already set up. With that in your account, all you really need to do is to click the submit button. Now you're actually running that example job under your account. All right, hope that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. Thank you.